Type 26 revolver. The first modern service pistol of the Japanese Army introduced way back in 1893. It was a break-top revolver heavily inspired by the American Smith & Wesson designs. It was double action only, meaning it had a heavy trigger pull and no hammer spur to cock. It had a notorious design flaw. The cylinder spun freely when the hammer was down, meaning if a soldier tilted the gun, the cylinder could rotate to an empty chamber or a fired casing. Type 14 Nambu. The iconic sidearm of the Japanese officer. While it superficially resembled the German Luger P08 due to its grip angle, the internal mechanism was completely different. It fired the weak 8mm Nambu cartridge. Reliability was an issue. The recoil springs were often too weak to cycle the weapon in cold weather, leading officers to carry spare springs in their holsters. Despite its flaws, it was comfortable to hold and accurate. Type 94 Nambu. Often cited as one of the worst pistols ever made, designed for tank crews and pilots who needed something smaller than the Type 14. It is infamous for its exposed sear bar on the side of the frame. If a soldier holstered the weapon aggressively or simply squeezed the side of the gun, it could fire without the trigger being pulled. It was ugly, dangerous to the user, and crudely finished, yet served until the end of the war. Type 100. Japan was very late to the submachine gun party, believing that ammunition conservation was more important than volume of fire. The Type 100 was the only Japanese submachine gun produced in any significant numbers. It featured a side-mounted curved magazine and a complex recoil reducer. In true Japanese fashion, it was fitted with a lug for a bayonet, highlighting their obsession with close-quarters combat, even on automatic weapons. Type 100 paratrooper model. A specialized variant of the standard Type 100, designed for the Teishin Shudan airborne units. It featured a side-folding stock so it could be strapped to a jumper's chest during descent. It was used during the invasion of Palembang and fighting in the Philippines. While a capable weapon, it was produced in such small numbers that it never had a strategic impact on the war. Type 38 Arisaka. The long rifle that conquered East Asia. Chambered in 6.5mm, it was incredibly long, which, when combined with a bayonet, gave the average Japanese soldier a reach advantage in melee combat. The small caliber produced very little recoil and no muzzle flash, making Japanese snipers very hard to locate in the jungle. It came with a sliding metal dust cover over the bolt, which kept out the mud but rattled loudly, so many soldiers discarded it. Type 44 carbine. A short cavalry version of the Type 38. It was designed for troops on horseback who found the long infantry rifle impossible to carry. Its most distinctive feature was a permanently attached folding spike bayonet that swung out and locked into place. It was a rugged, handy little carbine that saw extensive use in China and by support troops in the Pacific. Type 99 Arisaka. The standard mid-war rifle. The Army realized the 6.5mm round lacked stopping power, so they upgraded to the hard-hitting 7.7mm cartridge. This rifle was famous for its anti-aircraft sights, fold-out wings on the rear sight, theoretically designed to lead flying airplanes, a feature that was practically useless in reality. It also featured a wire monopod for stability, though soldiers often removed it to save weight. Type 2 paratrooper rifle. A takedown version of the Type 99. Japanese paratroopers couldn't jump with full-length rifles, so this weapon could be split into two halves, the barrel and the stock, and stored in a leg back. Once on the ground, the soldier would screw the two halves together. It was a clever piece of engineering that allowed airborne troops to have a full-power battle rifle immediately upon landing. Type 97 sniper rifle. Essentially, a Type 38 rifle selected for accuracy and fitted with a 2.5x telescopic sight. The scope was offset to the left side of the receiver, allowing the shooter to still use the iron sights and load the weapon with stripper clips. In the hands of a camouflaged Japanese sniper tied into a palm tree with this low-flash, low-smoke weapon, this weapon was the terror of Allied patrols in the Pacific. Type 11 light machine gun. One of the strangest designs of the war.
It didn't use magazines or belts. Instead, it had a hopper on the side that you filled with the same 5-round stripper clips used in the infantry rifles. The idea was that the machine gunner could borrow ammo from any rifleman. In practice, the mechanism was easily jammed by the dirt and mud of the battlefield, and it required a special oiler system to lubricate the cartridges, which only attracted more dust. Type 96 light machine gun, visually similar to the British Bren gun, featuring a top-mounted 30-round magazine. It was a massive improvement on the Type 91. It was reliable, accurate, and easy to change barrels. However, Japanese doctrine still dictated that every weapon must be a melee weapon, so the Type 96 could inevitably be fitted with a bayonet, a terrifying prospect on a 20-pound machine gun. Type 99 light machine gun. The evolution of the Type 96 updated to fire the larger 7.7mm round to match the new Type 99. It was arguably the best Japanese light machine gun of the war. It featured a conical flash hinner and a forward-folding pistol grip. It was the primary source of automatic firepower for Japanese squads defending the caves of Iwo Jima and Okinawa. Type 92 heavy machine gun. Known to Allied troops as the woodpecker because of its slow, rhythmic rate of fire, it was a heavy, air-cooled beast mounted on a tripod and fed by rigid metal strips. It fired a large 7.7mm semi-rimmed round. The slow fire rate prevented overheating and made it incredibly accurate for suppressing fire. It was the anchor of the Japanese defensive network. Type 97 anti-tank rifle. A massive semi-automatic rifle weighing over 150 pounds when carried by its crew. It fired a 20mm cannon shell capable of destroying light tanks and landing craft. It had a brutal recoil and a muzzle blast that could kick up a massive dust cloud, revealing the position. As American tanks became heavily armored, these guns were repurposed to destroy bunkers and machine gun nests. Type 89 grenade discharger. Incorrectly called the knee mortar by Allied troops. It was a small, portable mortar with a curved base plate meant to be braced against a log or the ground, never the knee, as the recoil would break a soldier's leg. It bridged the gap between a hand grenade and artillery. Japanese soldiers were experts with this weapon, capable of dropping explosives into American foxholes with frightening precision from hundreds of meters away. While often mocked for their strange aesthetics and archaic features, the Japanese arsenal was rugged, effective, and perfectly suited for the defensive jungle warfare that defined the Pacific theater, exacting a heavy toll on Allied forces until the very end.